Let me just say that there were not that many people here when I got sworn in. What is the deal here? I'm glad I'm secure. I tell you. Let me just say this is a very special moment for the city of Houston, for where we are and where we are going. Today is a big day for this city. We are ready to move forward with the leadership team that will carry us into 2017 and beyond. I said all along that once we had our pension situation firmed up, that I would move quickly to fill key positions here at the city. With City Council's vote last month on our pension reforms, we are now in a good place on that issue, and it is time to take the next step in the creation of an even more transformative, innovative, smart, and responsive city government. I want to thank, before I go further, Steve Newton and Russell Reynolds Associates. Steve, where's Steve? Steve, let me thank you all. Steve and Russell from Russell Reynolds Associates and the executive transition team that we assemble have done an outstanding job for me and the city over the last 11 months in screening individuals, interviewing, assembling talent from all over the country, and bringing them to my attention. And that process has been going since the very beginning. And so, Steve, let me thank you. And let me thank Russell Reynolds for volunteering their expertise, because they have done so at no charge to the city of Houston. I think they deserve another hand. To David Mintzberg, who head the transition team, to the members of the Executive Transition Committee, many are in this room right now, and to all of those who are part of the Public Safety Transition Team, let me thank all of them for their tireless efforts, for their work, and for helping us to get to this very point. I have 4 appointments today and a reappointment to announce. Let me just start with the police chief. Acevedo, the police chief of Austin, who has been the police chief of Austin since 2007. His 30 years of law enforcement experience began as a field patrol officer in East Los Angeles. In Austin, he oversaw a department with more than 2,400 sworn officers and support personnel and a $370 million annual budget. He joined the department at a time when relations with minorities were strained due to questionable police shootings. He has been credited for a commitment to police legitimacy, accountability, and community policing and engagement. His accomplishments includes creating a special investigative unit to criminally investigate officers involved shootings and a new disciplinary matrix. He doesn't mind being out there on the front line himself. He is a cop's cop. He values the rank and file police officers that are out there on the street. He recognizes the need for diversity. He is eager to serve the city of Houston. He holds a Bachelor's of Science in Public Administration from the University of Laverne, is a graduate of the FBI's National Executive Institute, and he speaks fluent Spanish. I want you now to give a warm welcome to the new police chief of Houston, Texas, Acevedo. And I failed to announce with Steve this morning from Russell Reynolds is Aaron Cabray and Travis Radford. Where are they? There they are. Why are y'all buried all the way back there? You gave me some free service. You need to kind of come up to the front. Now let me turn my attention to the fire chief. And let me introduce to you Chief Sam Pena. Chief Pena joined the El Paso Fire Department in 1995 and then rose through the ranks to the position of fire chief, which he has held since 2013. He has previous experience as a firefighter, paramedic, media sports person, advanced medical coordinator, combined search and rescue team member, hazardous materials and special rescue task force member, and the academy training chief. He is committed to this city and came highly recommended from the screening committee. He's smart and he's innovative and he is prepared to take the reins of the Houston Fire Department. He has a bachelor's degree in criminal justice and a master's degree in business administration from the University of Texas at El Paso. He is a veteran of the U.S. Air Force, where he served for 4 years as an air control specialist. Like Chief Acevedo, he is also fluent in Spanish. He is here with his wife, Carol. Where's Carol? Right here. And Carol is joined by her sister, Jackie, and Jackie is joined by her son, Matthew, who up until the day had perfect attendance in school. Give it up, please, to Chief Sam Pena. And Matthew, I'm prepared to give you a letter to take back so that your perfect attendance can remain intact. I want to thank two very special people who I've gotten attached to over the last 11 months. I want to thank Acting Police Chief Martha Montalvo and Acting Fire Chief Rodney West. When I came on board, Chief Rodney West was already the acting chief of the fire department. Over the last 11 months, he has served me extremely well, and he served this city extremely well. And I want him to know this will always be a grateful city for his service. Chief Martha Montalvo came on board at the last moment. When Chief McCasland announced that he was going to retire, I called her up and asked her to serve. Over the last 11 months, it has not been easy. And she has run this force under some of the difficult circumstances, and she has handled it extremely well. I could not be more proud of her service, and I want to thank her for her service. Please give it up to Chief Martha Montalvo. The Municipal Court's presiding judge. The new Municipal Court's presiding judge will be Judge Elaine Marshall. Judge Marshall was first appointed a municipal court judge in 1987. She assumed the position of associate presiding judge in 2014, and she is responsible for supervising more than 20 full-time judges and court security officers. She presides over the city's teen court and assisted with the launching of the court's new computer system. Prior to joining city government, she served as an adjunct professor of law at Texas Southern University and as an assistant Harris County district attorney. She graduated from the University of Notre Dame with a bachelor's degree in psychology. She, too, brings a wealth of experience, institutional knowledge, and an understanding of the municipal court. Chief Elaine Marshall, I look forward to working with you. And like Chief Martha Montalvo and Chief West, when I came into office, this court, the municipal courts, were being overseen by Judge Hartle, who has done a wonderful job as the presiding judge of municipal courts. And over the last 11 months, she has done what I have asked her to do. And she has done it well with a great deal of class. And even though she is not going to be the presiding judge, I have asked her to stay on as a full-time judge with the municipal courts, and she has graciously agreed. Judge Hartle, thank you for your service. The Department of Housing and Community Development, that will now be head on a full-time permanent basis by Tom McCasland. Tom has been serving as interim director of the Houston Department of Housing and Community Development since July. He was previously employed as the chief executive officer for the Harris County Housing Authority, and also has experience working as a contractor for the Bayou Greenways 2020 project and Vincent and Elkins law firm. His law degree, unfortunately, is from Yale.
Nothing wrong with that, man.
Obviously, Harvard was closed at the time. And he holds a bachelor's degree from Hobe Sound Bible College and a master's degree from Baylor University. He is given leadership to building complete communities so that we do not have two cities in one, with affordable housing. And for the first time in a long time, under his leadership, we are starting to bring down those blue tarps on people's houses since Hurricane Ike in 2008. And Tom, I continue to look forward to you as we work to build a greater Houston. Municipal Court, Phyllis Frye, Judge Frye. Phyllis is the first openly transgender judge appointed in Texas. She has served on the municipal bench since 2010. She graduated from Texas A&M University with a Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering and a Master of Science in Mechanical Engineering, and later earned a Master of Business Administration and Juris Doctorate degree from none only but the University of Houston. She was honorably discharged from the United States Army in 1972, and she transitioned in 1973. I have known Phyllis Frye for well over 25 years. She is a pioneer, she's a gladiator, and she is a very competent attorney and competent judge. Judge Frye, I look forward to continuing to work with you. I intend to send these nominations to my 16 favorite partners in the whole world, the members of City Council, for confirmation on November the 30th, so that they can all start work before the end of the year. And today I'm joined by many members of City Council today. Beyond being very capable, this group also reflects the diversity of this great city. And it is my answer to the current discomfort that many are feeling about inclusiveness and acceptance. Words can sometimes be deficient, but actions speak much, much louder. Houston is a diverse city, and we must have a leadership team at City Hall that is able to understand all the different populations that we serve. We have accomplished much in this first year in office, but we are far from being finished. I want to build upon the success of 2016. There is much more transformation and innovation yet to come as we move this city forward together. And with the person standing with me and before you, this city, the city of Houston, is now ready to move at a very rapid pace. Thank you so very much. And if you will, let me just ask Chief Acevedo to say some brief words, and then followed by Chief Pena, and then we'll take maybe a few questions from the media. Chief Acevedo.
Wow. Well, to say I'm not overwhelmed would be an understatement, but I just want to say, Mayor, first of all, to you and your colleagues, and to everyone here, thank you so much for your leadership. It's, we've been going through this vetting process, but we've actually been vetting you. I've been vetting you and admiring you from afar. And I really look forward to the challenge of working in a city, meeting with these elected officials, where they get the big picture and where they think big. This is Texas, this is Houston, and I will just keep it brief like my boss just told me to and say, let's get ready to move, because HPD and here in City of Houston, you're going to see some great things. And so I look forward to the challenge, and I really want to thank you for the opportunity and the trust. Thank you.
All right.
Now, you know I'm excited about this day. I was so excited I couldn't get to bed last night. Now, let me also invite to the podium the new chief of the Houston Fire Department, Chief Pena.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to echo what Chief Acevedo said. I am also very thankful for the opportunity. I am happy to have the support of the mayor in leading one of the premier fire organizations in the country, if not the entire world. Houston Fire Department is recognized around the country as one of the best fire departments in the nation. We intend to continue in the tradition that they've established. I look forward to working with the associations. I look forward to working with the rank and file, and certainly with City Council and the mayor in moving this department and the city forward. Thank you.
And to speak for the City Council, let me call on two persons. Let me call on the Mayor Pro Tem, and then followed by that, let me call on the Chairman of Public Safety and Homeland Security for their comments. Mayor Pro Tem, Elaine Cohen.
Thank you very much. I was really struck by what the mayor said, that you can talk a lot about diversity, but it's different when you make something happen. And if you look at these new appointees, you can really see the face of Houston and what we expect to be the face of this country. Ladies and gentlemen, I know on behalf of all my colleagues, those of you that are appointed today, please know you have our support, our respect, and we look forward to working with you. Thank you very much for coming on board. Thank you.
And Councilmember Brenda Stardick, who's had an opportunity to talk with all of them, but specifically the new fire chief and the police chief, Councilmember Brenda Stardick.
Thank you, Mayor. I did have the honor and pleasure to meet briefly with the two candidates, and I am very, very impressed, very excited, and I had to ask the mayor, you'll appreciate this. I asked the mayor, did you coach them to tell them the answers to give me? Because I was so impressed with their professionalism, their expertise, their knowledge, and their willingness to serve the city of Houston. And I am very grateful, Mayor, for this opportunity to work with them, and for all of our colleagues and all Houstonians. This is a great opportunity for our city. Thank you.
Thank you. Now I'll take a few questions if there are any. Maybe we answered them all.
Mayor,
Yes, Isaiah.
Chief Acevedo sees his priorities walking into the Houston Police Department.
Chief Acevedo, you want to take that one?
First of all, my number one priority is going to be to get to know every man and woman inside the department, the association members, and then externally getting to know every corner of this city, because I think the relationship of an organization of Houston starts with the mayor, but for the police department, it ends with me. So I've been working really hard to go out and meet our folks, assess our needs, get their ideas. I know there's going to be a lot of good ideas in the organization, and most importantly for me is, number one and foremost, keeping the city of Houston safe. And if I could just say to people that speak my native tongue, my first language, que estoy orgulloso de estar aquí en la ciudad de Houston, y acuérdese que el único que tiene el miedo a la policía es el criminal. Si es víctima, and I'll say it in English, Mayor, with your permission here, si es víctima o es testigo, adelante, estamos a su servicio. So I just said that if, to the people that speak this language, that we are here to serve folks. If you are a victim of a crime or a witness to a crime, step forward. We're here to serve you, and I know that our mayor and our council, that's what they expect of us. Thank you.
Thank you. I was going to translate that myself. Chief, just remember now, yeah. I was going to translate for you, but it's all good. I mean, we don't want any redundancy, so I'm not going to repeat what he said, because we're about being streamlined and as a team, and he just kind of read my thoughts. But yes, another question, please. Yes, sir.
For law enforcement in our community in terms of resources, manpower, the pension issue.
Yes.
There's A lot of the officers that I've spoken with could use a big morale boost. Chief, what's your strategy going to be in getting in there and dealing with these critical issues facing the city?
Well, you know, morale is really critical because let's face it, an unhappy workforce is not a good workforce. It's not an optimal workforce. But I can just say this to the men and women of the Houston Police Department. I love cops. I love policing. I'm 52 years old, and I still love coming to work each and every day. I promise them that we're going to go into on a journey, that if they trust me, and they trust our mayor, and they trust this council, when we reach our destination, as good as they are, they're going to be even better. And I'm looking at some of the assistant chiefs that have known me for the last 9.5 years. Stand back, get ready to work, because I've got your back, and I hope they'll have mine. Just give me the chance to show you what the mayor saw in me, and I promise you that when we're done, they're going to be very thankful that they have Chief Art Acevedo at the helm.
And if I can just add just a touch to that question, because I went to the police picnic on Saturday, and let me tell you, all the comments that I received were very positive. Even on the pension issue, what police officers were saying to me, they want certainty. And they want a sustainable pension plan, retirement system they can count on. I had officers who had been with the police force for 30 years who told me, Mayor, we are not leaving. We are staying. And so let's not assume a negative when many things are positive. But what people want is certainty. They want to know that when they retire, the check will be in the mail and they can count on it. We've done it in a very balanced way. I think everyone recognized that with the current system was not sustainable. And the worst thing under the current system, you could have been a police officer for 35 years and retired and be at home. But under the current system, at some point, the check was not going to come in the mail. So whether you were active or retired, the current system was not working. At least under the system that we're putting in place, they can count on it. It is well balanced. And whether you're active or retired, there is no reason to run to the door. But this is a grateful city. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Acevedo, you've been the chief in Austin for 9 years. What prompts you to move to Houston now?
Oh, did you look past me? Tell them that you looked and you saw a good-looking mayor from city of Houston. You know.
Do you need to ask anything else?
I mean, look, who would not want to be in this city? I mean, look, this is Houston. You know, there were a whole lot of chiefs from all over the globe who wanted to be here. Let me just say that I am fortunate that we were able to get all of the people that were before us. It's a great, great city.
What is your message to the new chief with respect to the state of Houston's police body camera program?
That we have a body camera program that is constantly under review, and the mayor is constantly reviewing each and everything to make everything better.
Do you have any thoughts on that, sir?
I think he spoke through me. Lisa, yeah.
What are your priorities once you take lead of the Houston Fire Department? And there's been a lot of consternation about the pension negotiations and lack of resources. How do you plan to address those?
Certainly. Priorities for myself going into this department is I'm going to be drinking from the proverbial fire hydrant for a while, learning the processes and really getting to know the command staff, sitting down with the associations and the rank and file to find out what their priorities are from their perspective, and before we make any wholesale changes. But certainly, just in what we've been reading in the newspapers and what's available out there, there are some opportunities, and we will explore every option to make this an efficient delivery of emergency services.
It's 3 times as many employees as the El Paso Fire
Yes, sir.
Department. Almost 5 times as many calls for service annually.
Yes, sir.
Does that scale give you any pause?
Certainly, the scale is different. A lot of the issues are similar. They're not the same, but they're similar. Response times, equipment, personnel, those types of issues are issues that a lot of municipalities are dealing with. I'm charged with finding the most efficient way to deliver the service that the community is expecting. Having honest conversations with City Council about what is it that they want their fire department to do. We spoke about morale earlier. I think from my perspective, a drop in morale is when we're asking our first responders to do a certain job and not resourcing them appropriately. So really having candid conversations with the mayor and city council and finding out exactly what they expect from their fire department, and then letting them know what it's going to take to deliver the type of service that they want. Mm-hmm.
This is a question for both of the new chiefs. There's been some concern that the current pension negotiations could lead to rapid retirements in both the fire department and the police department. Can you speak to that and how you plan to address those issues?
I'll be more than happy to. Let me just say, for the first time in the city's history, for the first time, all three employee groups are on the same page: police, fire, and municipal workers. For the first time in city's history, the pension plan was passed by city council 16-1. And for the first time in Houston history, not only are the three employee groups on the same page, city council on the same page, the Greater Houston Partnership is supporting this pension plan. It is one that I believe is a model for the country, a model for the country. And if we did not make the changes, it would not be good for active firefighters, active municipal employees, active police officers, retired firefighters, retired municipal workers, retired firefighters. It wouldn't be good, and they couldn't count on their pensions. Now, what sense does it make to work for this city for 30 to 35 years and then retire, and you can't count on your retirement? So this is a system, this is a plan, unlike Dallas and some other cities, Chicago, Detroit, and our list can go on and on. For the first time, we are all on the same page, moving to Austin together, and that's good news. And I think that should give a great deal of confidence and security for all the firefighters. Again, we can choose to ignore the positives and try to create a negative, or we can be like Houston and say, we are a can-do city. And I'm waiting for people to say that we are a can-do city, and we have come up with a plan that other cities across the United States can look to as a model. That's the way we do it in Houston, and I am indebted and grateful to every firefighter, police officer, municipal workers that came and made the sacrifice, and I want to say thank you to all of them. Yes, sir.
In regards to Chief Acevedo's legacy in Austin when it comes to race relations, what was it in his jacket that really caught your attention, Mayor?
Well, leadership stands out. I mean, he is a leader. There's no question about that. I mean, he's a cop's cop. He's respected by police officers, and he's respected by people in the community. And he has had to deal with some very tough, very sensitive circumstances, and he's been able to deal with that. And these are very sensitive times when you're trying to balance law enforcement and the community interest. And what we've said from day one, I wanted someone who placed emphasis on community policing. And when you look at his resume, he has always placed emphasis on community policing. And really in this time, you just need someone who can exude confidence and be able to handle 5,300 police force, and at the same time be able to speak to every segment of our community. When I looked at the elements that were important to me, leadership, management, being a police officer, a cop's cop, having community sensitivities, being innovative, and taking us from where we are to the next step, every box I was able to check off.
Looking outside the city.
Any flaws that you saw in reviewing Chief Acevedo?
Well, let me just see. Let me think.
He's too tall. He's too tall. He's too tall. He makes
No, he didn't go to Harvard, but and he, not University of Houston. But no, let me just say that I was very impressed by him, and his record speaks for itself. Just like every one of these other individuals that's standing before you, if I did not think they were capable and competent on an exceptional point of view, they would not be standing before you today. And if you notice, I said I was not going to be rushed in making these appointments. I was not going to be rushed, and I was not rushed. And let me tell you, all of these individuals have proven themselves and have a proven track record, and they can be effective and impactful, and they can be innovative leaders for the city of Houston, and that's good.
Outside the city for a new police chief and a new fire chief.
I looked inside and outside. I interviewed candidates that are within, and I interviewed people who were out. And so nobody was excluded. It was not intentional to go outside. Municipal courts judge is on the inside. Tom was an interim chief, an interim director on the inside. Judge Frye is already on the inside. These two happen to come from outside, but in the state of Texas. What I was looking for was ability, leadership, management, and someone who can master the respect of people across this very diverse city. And I am confident that I found them, and they are before you. One more question, and we're going to call it for the day.
You said you wanted to wait for the pension deal to be wrapped up before you made an appointment.
Yes.
Why, can you elaborate on that? Why was that important to you before?
Because number one, I think you don't necessarily want to bring people into a new position if your house, you're still trying to get your house, so to speak, in order. And there were some issues that we needed to take care of that were very sensitive, and I did not want to add to the difficulty of resolving the pension issue. As you very well know, the pension issue is very complex, and it's very sensitive, and it's a very delicate matter. And what I said is that just as soon as we firmed up a resolution on pensions, then I would quickly move on these other appointments. And that's not to say we weren't working all alone, because Steve Newton and his group and Russell Reynolds and the executive committee were working all alone. But just as soon as that issue was firmly resolved, at least at this level, the local level, and that was, and the city council voted on the plan on October 26th, we are now standing before you. I kept the promise that I made, and I'm consistent with the representation that I made to the people in the city. I want to thank you for being present. Now let's give it up again to the new directors of Houston Police Department.